सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ श्री परमात्मने नमः। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। अथ ध्यानम्। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे फुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्ण प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयः प्रदीपः प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्स सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। भीष्मद्रोणतटा जयद्रथजला गान्धारनीलोत्पला शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण वहनी कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थामविकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी सोत्तीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैरणनदी कैवर्तककेशवः पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलं गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटं नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथा सम्बोधनाबोधितं लोके सज्जनषट्पदैरहरः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयाद् भारत पंकजं कलिमल प्रध्वंसिन श्रेयसे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्र रुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैस्ताङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैर्गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुः सुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभांगं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिभिर्ध्यानगम्यं वन्दे विष्णुं भवभयहरं सर्वलोकैकनाथं सर्वलोकैकनाथं सर्वलोकैकनाथम्।
Suresh, you're muted. I cannot hear you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, sorry, I was not able to unmute. Yeah, okay, thank you. Yeah, so we are at the almost at the concluding week, the last chapter, Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. And this is the opening contemplation. final judgment. Are all actions tainted? Should they be given up? The wise say that actions for the sake of charity, worship, and self-discipline should never be given up. The truth is that actions for charity, even without being asked, worship with full faith, self-discipline through regular practice, all make the heart and mind pure. They should not be given up, but performed regularly. Even noble actions or mundane ones should be performed with no expectations. This is the final judgment of Sri Krishna in that song Divine. Final judgment.
Namaste. Can you hear me okay? Namaste. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Shri Matre Namaha. Gomatre Namaha. Gita Matre Namaha. Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha. Sabhayai Namaha. Saluting Ganesh Maharaj, Mata Saraswati, and all the gurus, the Guru Parampara. Narayana Samarambham, Vyasa Shankara Madhyamam, Asmadacharya Paryantam, Vande Guru Paramparam, or Sadasiva Samarambham, Vyasa Shankara Madhyamam, Asmadacharya Paryantam, Vande Guru Paramparam. And saluting you all for sincerely, with reverence, with utmost Shraddha, going through this journey of 22 in 22, the 18 chapters, introduction and conclusion, with the second and 18th chapter, both of them divided into two parts, as they are the two of the biggest chapters in Bhagavad Gita. The 18th chapter is named by rishis as Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, very intriguing name. We have been talking about sannyasa, karma sannyasa, and now we're talking about moksha sannyasa. There are 4 purusharthas, chaturveda purusharthas, for all of us, for all of us. The goal of human beings is this. And what are they? Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. And we began with the dharma. Dharma kshetre, kurukshetre. Then we talked about artha, the world. In the second, third, we had talked about how we should be living in this world and how we should be giving back to this world. Then kama, how we should fulfill our goals, how we should work towards our goals. So all this through dharma. So dharmena artham sampadayet, arjayet. So we have to, you cannot underestimate the value of the money, the property and position, the vocation and the profession we are in. We have to express the divinity in the vocation and profession and the work we are exhibiting. So the expression of joy and not going after expecting the joy, because the joy is nowhere. It's now here, nowhere. If you just readjust, nowhere, just bring the W towards no, and it becomes now here, now here. So moksha sannyasa is now this 4th purushartha, going after that. Well, dharmena, artham, sadhayet, kamam, purayet. You fulfill your desires. But they should not be too selfish This should not be so centered around you only. And this should not be at the cost of others and at the cost of the world. Because dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshabha. That kama which is not opposed to dharma is me, O Arjuna. Now, with all this moksham. So moksham. So this is no doubt the last part of it. But when you when you cross that final line, then there is nothing more to give up or to look for, because you're already there. So when you're already there, there is no place to go to. So you have automatically given up for the desire for that moksha. So the craving for moksha is gone. So craving for moksha is automatically gone for a Jivan Mukta who is in that state. But for a mumukshu, so mumukshu is moksha me bhavet iti icha. So from mumukshu to mumukshu is the one arurukshu. Arurukshor muner yogam karmakaranam uchyate yoga rudhasya tasyaiva samakaranam uchyate. So all the breaks and turns and the stress while going through the downtown until we get onto the freeway. So that is the action with vision, with vigilance. That's what we are all doing now, going through. But once you are on that freeway, so you are, it's like, you are just like a free bird, that you are in a cruise mode, the wings, the bird flying in the sky. So there's no more desire, nothing to look for and nothing to crave for. That is Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. And in this chapter, we see two things. While Krishna is trying to summarize the teachings which were through 17th chapter, 2nd to 17th, because in the first chapter, Krishna said only 5 words. Uvacha partha pasyaitan samavetan kuruniti. So Bhagavan Uvacha, O Partha, Pashya, Etan, Samavetan, Kurun. So those 5 words only. But that was the lookout, O Arjuna, lookout. And through the entire teaching from 2nd chapter onwards, it is the outlook which Krishna Bhagavan has given to Arjuna. So from looking out, look out to outlook. So our vision has changed. Our vision has changed going through the journey of these chapters. And now Krishna is not only trying to summarize, but he has also covered some of the things which are left over in the 17th chapter from Shraddhatraya Vibhaka Yoga. And that, along with answering Arjuna's one last question, Arjuna has still not given up. Hey, it looks like even going through all that, going to ashram seems to be better than fighting in Kurukshetra here. Because the end result is that happiness anyway. So now, why fight? Why fight? So there is a small story. Somebody is on the beach, sitting nicely on an easy chair and smoking cigar. And somebody goes and asks him, why are you so lazily sitting here? Why don't you go work? He said, what do you do after working? Well, you can earn money. And what do you do with that money? Well, you can build a house. Then what do you do with that? Oh, then you can marry and then you can be a nice family man. Then what? Children. Then what? Educate them. Then what? Well, retire and then be happy and then just, relax, sit, relax and enjoy. And he's saying, that's what I'm doing now. That's what I'm doing now. So, but that's not what is meant here through Gita's teachings. So enjoy that every moment you live in. You live in today. You live in today and enjoy today. So enjoy. So this is what is taught in Ikigai also, the Japanese principle of Ikigai. But Arjuna now, for our sake, is asking one last time. Ek aur bar, Krishna ye boliye, sannyasasya mahabaho, tattvamichhami veditum, tyagasya charishi kesha, pruthakeshi nishodhana. Tell me about this sannyasa and tyaga. I heard these two words. O Mahabaho, O the mighty armed, because deep inside, Arjuna knows that Krishna is redefining the sannyasa, redefining the yoga, and while working, as we see, one hand holding the gourd, the other hand with Jnana Mudra, and holding the gourd. So vritti, pravritti, and then at the same time nivritti. So that, O Mahabaho, and at the same time, O Rishikesha, Rishikanam Ishaha, the one who is the Lord of Indriyas, the controller of his own senses, the one who has full control over his senses and mind. O Keshi Nishodhana, Keshi is a demon, but Klesha Nishodhana, Klesha means difficulties. You are the only one who can solve this puzzle, and you can get me through these difficulties. Because etan me samshayam Krishna chettumarhasya seshataha twadanyas samsayasyasya chetana hyupapadyate. There is no one who can solve this puzzle other than you, O Krishna, for these reasons, because you are so qualified teacher. Shrotriya Brahmanishta, that is a great teacher. And now tell me what sannyasa is and what tyaga is. Before going to the meaning of tyaga and sannyasa, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa used to say, just say Gita, 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 Gita number of times and you will become a Tagi. Tagi means Tyagi. So that is how Ramakrishna Paramahamsa used to say. And Bhagavan Krishna again clarifying, Kamyanam karmanam nyasam sannyasam kavayo viduhu sarva karma phalatyagam prahustyagam vichakshana. Vichakshanaha, the panditaha, those vichakshanaha are nitya vastu vivekinaha. Those who can divide between nitya, what is eternal, anitya, what is ephemeral. And those who can realize what has limitations and what is that infinite thing, the finite and the infinite. So those people say, O Arjuna, kavayaha, also kavayaha, kavi is drashta, the visionaries. So kavim kavinam upamashravastamam jeshtarajam brahmanam, we see that in the Ganesha mantra. And we also saw kavim purana manushasitaram, and we also saw kavinam usana kavihi. So kavayo viduhu, these great people, great visionaries, they know and they say kamyanam karmanam, kamyanam. So the kamya karmas are these selfish, desireful, intensely selfish, intensely desireful activities. When you try to give up, as Swami Vivekananda says, from I, me, myself, to go towards we and ourselves in our family, then we and ourselves in our village, and we and ourselves in our town, and in our state, and in our country, and then in our world, and in our universe. So that is how you expand. The expansion is life, and contraction is death. So kamyanam karmanam nyasam is called samnyasam. Samyak nyasam is samnyasam. Sarva karma phalatyagam tyagamiti vichakshanaha prahuhu. So we have seen there's so many things in 12th chapter, alternatives which have been taught. And finally, sarva karma phalatyagam tathak kuruyat atmavan. Because tyagat shantiranantaram. So all we have to do is really not lose anything by developing this attitude. So the attitude of gratitude and surrendering unto the Supreme and keeping the results at the feet of the Supreme is sarva karma phalatyagam. Tyagamiti vichakshana prahuhu. So now, the next one. So tyagam cannot be tyaga of everything. Karma phalatyaga. So you don't want to give up this world. There goes a sannyasi to the palace of a king. And king gets up from his throne and comes and then prostrates to sannyasi. That was great. And then next moment, sannyasi prostrates to king. And king is so puzzled. As Swamiji, there is a meaning when I prostrated in front of you, because you have given up everything, given up this world. Why did you prostrate to me? He says, because that king was not ruling well. Very egoistic. He just wanted to change him. And he said, well, I have given up this world and worldly things, but you have given up the master of the world. You have given up something bigger than this world. So that's why you are a bigger tyagi. So that is not the tyaga. So then we should not waste any moment. So time is treasure. And the treasure, whatever we earn, that also we have to learn to spend wisely. So kshanashaha kanashaschaiva vidyam artham cha sadhayet. Kshanashaha kanashaschaiva vidyam artham cha sadhayet. Vidya should be learned at every moment, moment after moment. Don't let any moment go by to learn. So kshana means second. Kana means a coin, just a penny. So don't ignore even a penny, because you have to be very knowledgeable in this world. So the worldly things are also important. So every penny is important for you to become rich. Artham cha sadhaye. Ksanatyage kuto vidya, kanatyage kuto dhanam. So if you let these moments go, how can you learn? And if you let the group of pennies go, and then how do you accumulate wealth? So it is a subhashita. And listen, what people say out here, tyajyam dosha vidityeke, tyajyam dosha vadityeke, tyajyam dosha vat iti eke, karma prahur manishinaha, yajna dana tapak karma, natyajyam iti chapare. A group of people here say that, oh, this karma, every action has to be given up, and then you go to Himalayas. But others say that, na, yajna, dana, tapa, all this, natyajam, they should not be given up, iti apare, others say that. And you want to know my opinion about this, O Arjuna? Lord Krishna says, Nischayam shunu me tatra, tyage bharata sattama, tyago hi purusha vyagra, trividhas samprakirtitaha. O purusha vyagra, O the tiger among the men, you listen to me, you hear me now about my decisive opinion, my firm opinion, nischayam. So my decision on this, my decisive opinion on this. This tyaga is of 3 types. But before I say those 3 types, let me tell you one thing for sure, nischayena. So, because Arjuna wants everything to be said with nischaya. So, tanme bruhi sunischitam, tell me that, with your firmness and with your decisiveness. So, Yajnadana tapakarma natyajyam karyameva tat yajnyodanam tapaschaiva pavanani manishinam. O Arjuna, yajna, dana, tapas and karma. Yajna, that endeavor which we have defined so many times, which is done with putting in our full effort in cooperation with all others. And that endeavor, which is done for the good of the world, not craving or hankering to the results of it and not worrying about the side effects, the short-term and long-term side effects, and accepting the result as prasada and placing the result at the feet of the Lord. So that is yajna. So yat krutena tat jnayate. By doing such work, we understand what that is. Then dana. Dana is charity or sharing. Sharing. So sharing is many types of sharing. So vidya, dhanam, dhanyam, and in the least case scenario, a smile. You can share a smile with others. Then tapas. Tapas is, we talked about tapas. So tapas is that shariraka tapas, vachika tapas, and manasika tapas. So that bringing the mind and the senses together in one line. Indriyanamscha, manasascha aikagriyam tapa uchyate. So with tapas, we go upwards. Otherwise, it becomes pata. Tapa, if opposite of it is pata. Pata means falling down. Patati, so falling down. Then these are not to be given up because they purify us. They purify us. So all this, so karma kim param, karma tajjadam. What is that for then? That is for chitta shodhakam, mukti sadhakam. That's chitta shodhakam. So it will give us an introspective vision. It will give us an opportunity to look into ourselves. It will give us an outlook. So that is chitta shodhakam, mukti sadhakam. Then how should we do it? Nechaya kritam, ishwararpitam, ishwararpitam, nechaya kritam. Ramana Maharshi. So in Upadesha-sara. So that's how it goes. Now, that is what he said. Etanyapitu karmani sangam tyaktva phalani cha kartavyani iti. O Partha, me nischitam and uttamam matam. This is nischayena vadami. Nischayena vadami, pravakshyami iti. What iti does? So, etani, all these, karmani, actions, sangam tyaktva, phalani tyaktva. So sangam, when sangha is there, we are so perturbed, so agitated, and we are worried about the side effects. We are worried about the result of it. We are so anxious. So that anxiety is gone if we develop the attachment of nissanga while performing the work. Then phalani, we'll see how this phala is not in one's hand. So that also, if you're not worried about the short-term and long-term side effects of it, and if you're not just goal-oriented, but what happens, as some commentators say, if you are goal-oriented, then you develop an attitude by hook or crook, you'll do it. By hook or crook, when you're doing it, so there is always a possibility of taking the shortcut and the wrong route. Shortcut and wrong route. So that is the problem with sangam. And that is a problem with so phala sangha. So do it right as a duty with total engagement and complete detachment. As Swami Bodhananda says, so this is detached engagement. Detached engagement. Padmapatra mivambhasa. Padmapatra mivambhasa. This has been touched upon in the second chapter, the famous verse, Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbhuh ma te sangostva karmani. We're all born with this kama because Ishvara himself, so akamayat, he desired for him to become so many. So kamamaya evayam purusha iti sa yadha kamo bhavati tat kratur bhavati yat kratur bhavati tat karma kurute yat karma kurute tad abhishampadyate. So you are what your deep driving desire is. The vasana is driving us. Deep desire is driving us. Kamamayam purusha. So we are all Shraddha mayoyam purushaha. We saw that. Now, Kamamayoyam purushaha. Kamamaya eva ayam purushaha. And as we desire, so are our will. And as our will is, so are our deeds. And as our deeds are, so is the destiny. So said in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Kamamaya eva yam purusha iti sa yadha kamo bhavati tat kratur bhavati yat kratur bhavati tat karma kurute yat karma kurute tad abhishampadyate. Now, look at this, O Arjuna, the three types. The people who give up, they give up in three different ways. Niyatasya tu sanyasaha karmano nopapadyate mohatasya parityagaha tamasa parikirtitaha. So tamasika tyaga, the prescribed duties should never be renounced, but they are not aware of this. Living in the illusion, living in that world of moha, one gives up the prescribed duties and not even aware of it. That is another problem. And such renunciation is called tamasic. And what is rajasic? Rajasic knows about it, but knows about the difficulty also, knows about the difficulty, how difficult it is to achieve that state. Dukkham ityeva yat karma kaya klesha bhayatya jetam sakritva rajasam tyagam naivatyaga phalam labhet. You know, oh boy, this is so difficult. Dukkham iti. Kaya klesha bhaya, it is physically, emotionally, intellectually so difficult, financially so difficult. So that, thinking like that, if you do it, or if you do it incompletely, or even if you complete with these feelings, then there is no tyagaphalam that you can claim. But there is another kind. Yudhishthira, when Draupadi asked, why are you doing this? And the result of which is the forest for us. Why did you do all this? Then Dharmaraja said, I had to do this. Kartavyamiti, karyamiti, datavyamiti. So, karyamityeva yat karma, niyatam kriyate arjuna, sangam tyaktva phalam chaiva, satyagas satviko mataha. So, satvika tyaga is karyamiti. This has to be done. This is my duty. This is my responsibility. So, that karma, which is niyatam, that is prescribed because the rishis have seen that so purvakrutam. So our ancestors have seen that this action is good for the world, good for you and good for the world. So niyatam, prescribed, O Arjuna. And that, as we talked about, sangam and phalam tyaktva. So with attachment to, intense attachment to work and intense attachment to phala. Then, if you look at this, niyatam sangarahitam, aragat veshatakrutam, aphala prepsana karma, yattat satvikam uchyate. So karma, the action, what is prescribed and what is devoid of excessive attachment and what is beyond raga and dvesha. Raga and dvesha is so intense attachment and intense aversion. So intense attachment and intense aversion. That is not there. And it is prescribed. And aphala prepsana karma, that is not driven by the selfish desire and selfish fruit. So that I, me, myself is not there in that. So that is in the mode of goodness. So karma, that is sattvic karma. Then there is Rajasika karma and then Tamasika karma. Yattu kamepsuna karma sahankarena vapunaha kriyate bahulayasam tadrajasamudahritam. We have seen this with respect to Dhanam. We have seen this in Asuri Sampat. So it is kind of summary and also delineating karma it into three parts. So kama ipsunam. So kama is that intense desire is driving. Then there is ahankara, dambha, dambho, darpo, bhimanascha, krodha, parushyam, evacha. So bahula ayasam. So that pariklistena, ayasena. So when it is done, so showing all exertion, showing all frustration. So you do the work and you complete the work, but you are exhibiting so much of frustration while completing it. That is called Rajasik. Then Anubandham Kshayam Himsam Anavekshacha Paurusham Mohadarabhyate Karma Yattattamasam Uchyate. So that karma which is taken up without knowing what it is, why it is, how can it be done, and what does it take to accomplish this? So Anubandham, Kshayam, Himsam, Anavekshacha. So what harm is going to be done by taking up this action to oneself and to others and to the world? So all this is Tamasika karma. Then Karta or Tyagi. So we have talked about Tyagam, we have talked about karma, and now we talk about that person, Tyagi. So Tyagi. Nadvestya kushalam karma kushalena nusajjate Tyagi sattva samavishtaha medhavi chinna samshayaha. So this Tyagi, the one who is going through Gita and practicing, it's easy to preach like me, but it is so difficult to practice. So the one who is sattva samavishtaha, who is sattvasthaha, nitya sattvasthaha, vishtaha, avishtaha, samavishtaha. So vishtaha, the one who is entered and situated. Avishtaha, thoroughly, completely, not one leg here, one leg there. Then samavishtaha, always in all times. In what? In that sattva guna. So sattva samavishtaha, what a beautiful word. Sattvasthaha, nitya sattvasthaha. And medhavi is also learned. Bahavo jnana tapasa puta madbhava magataha. So aneka janma. So bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate. So is medhavi also. Chinna samshayaha, no doubt, there is no doubt. So we have seen that. So this samshayam chitva atishthotishta bharata, we have seen that in the 4th chapter. So chinna samshaya, the one there is no doubt at all, they doubt not at all. So and nadvestiya kushalam karma kushale na anusajjate. So when it is difficult, they don't hate it. When it is so easy, they do not revel in it. It's like Swami Chinmayananda and Bodhananda, they all used to say that you give them once a 5-star hotel room, they're the same. And next day they have to sleep on the platform of railway platform. They are happy the same way. So yoga ratova, bhoga ratova, sangha ratova, sangha vihina. That person, so then yasya brahmani ramate chittam nandati nandatyeva. So that person is tyagi, real tyagi, sattvika tyagi, medhavi, chinna samshaya, sattva samavishtaha. But it's so difficult to Arjuna for the ones who have this body, this deha. Nahi deha bhruta sakyam tyaktum karmanya sesataha yastu karma phalatyagi satyagi ityabhidhiyate. You cannot, because nahi kaschit kshanam api jati tishtatya karma kritta. You cannot live without giving up any action. Because then it will be a straight line on the EKG, as Ratan Lal Tata said. So you have to go through this action, you have to live, and you have to go through these ups and downs. But then what should we do? Karma phalatyagam, when we do that, we are called Tyagis. Anishtam ishtam mishram cha trividham karma na phalam bhavatyatyagi pritya natu sannyasi pachita. So the end result of any action is threefold. It's only threefold, really. It is the result which you like, or the result which you do not like, or it is a mixed feeling. Well, when you beat Pakistan, it is ishtam. When you were beaten by England, it was anishtam. But when England beat Pakistan, it is ishtam and anishtam. You see? So I'm just kidding. Okay. So there is, I think, some like, some dislike, and that is Mishram. And Mishram is mixed type. Oh, you know what? I really like the result, but I would have liked it, more if it was this way. So 80-20, 60-40, whatever. So the Mishram, 30-70. So Anishtam, Ishtam, Mishram. All this is for those who are desirous of karma phala. But for that sannyasi, it doesn't matter. And there's another interesting and important and very profound verse. For any result, O Arjuna, Panchaitani Mahabaho Karanani Nibodhame Sankhye Krutante Proktani Siddhaye Sarva Karmanam. For all the actions to be accomplished, for all the actions to be resulted, O Arjuna, there are 5 reasons. O Mahabaho. There are 5 Karanani. And know that. And this also has been taught in Sankhya. Krutante. This also is the Kruta Ante. So Kruta, the one which is Krutam, Ante, at the end of our Vedas. So this is a summary of the philosophy. This is what the essence of our scriptures is. For siddhi of all karmas, there are 5 reasons. What are they? Adhishthanam tadha karta, karanam cha pruthak vidham, vividhas cha pruthak chestah, daivam chaivatra panchamam. 1. Adhishthanam. 2. Karta. 3. Karanam. Pruthak vidham karanam. Then 4. Vividhaha chestaha. Then 5th. The 5th factor is called Daivam. So what are they? Adhishthanam. Adhishthanam is a place, the abode. And that abode is this body. This body. Body, shariram, is called Adhishthanam. For Atma, it is Adhishthanam. Then Karta. Karta. Aham karomi iti kartrutva bhavana. That doership. The doership, that sankalpa and doership, the doing part of it. Then, 3rd one is Pruthakvidham Karanam. Karanam means equipment also. Karanam, equipment. I'll say this meaning first and they'll go to the other meaning. So Karanam means equipment. Upakaranam we say. Upakaranam. So Upakaranam is instrument. So the various instruments. For surgeon, it's scalpel. For physician, it is a stethoscope, and for IT, it is the laptop and the mouse, and so on and so forth. So Karanam. Then Vividhascha Pruthak Chestaha. Various opportunities. Once you go out and then look out, there are many opportunities. So that Chestaha. But there is a 5th factor. All these are there. Because we have seen Adhibhutam, Adhidaivam, Adhyatmam. Adhyatmam, well, you are very desirous to do it, and you are motivated to do it, and you decided to do it. Adhyatmam. Adhibhutam. So, but there are actually others who are not in line with you. So you cannot be, so achieving that as a team if your team members are not with you. Adhibhutam. Adhidaivam. Everything was set, and then there is no power and there is no Zoom. So what can we do now? So that is Adhidaiva. So this is the Panchamam. Then others have commented in a beautiful way. Adhishthanam means this Annamaya Kosha. Then Chestaha is Pranamaya Kosha. Karanam is Indriyani Dashaikam cha. So Indriyas and mind is Karanam. So all 10 senses and Ekam Manas. Then the next one is Karta, that is Vijnanamaya Kosha. Then Panchama Kosha is Anandamaya Kosha. So that Daivi Sampat. So all these are important for any work to be accomplished. So Sharira Vangmano Bhiryat Karma Prarabhate Naraha Nyayam Va Viparitam Va Panchaite Tasya Hetavaha. So whether it is good or bad or ugly, these 5 are the reasons for it to be accomplished. So we talked about once Karta Karayita Chaiva Prerakascha Anumodakaha Chatvaraha Samabhaginaha Sukrute Duskrute Chaiva. Karta, the doer. Karayita, the maker of the doer, the one who is behind the Sutradhari. It's like in Godfather, so the dons don't do any work. They send, so their agents to get the work done or to finish the people that they want to. So Karta is the one who finishes. Karayita is the one, the real don. So, but here, the guide, the Sutradhari. So Karta Karayita Chaiva. Prerakascha, those who inspire, those who admire, those who are the cheerleaders. And then Anumodakaha, those who approve it and those who follow it. So these are the 4, whether it is good or bad. So, but here it is a beautiful verse, worth remembering. Panchaitani Mahabaho Adhishtanam Tadhakarta Karanam Cha Pruthak Vidham Vividhas Cha Pruthak Chestaha Daivam Cha Atra Panchamam. So when you know this, with this knowledge, O Arjuna, Yasya Naham Kruto Bhavo Buddhiriyasya Na Lipyate Hatvapi Sa Iman Lokan Nahantina Nibadhyate. Once you know all this concept of Atma, Karma, and Karta, then you know that Naham Kruto Bhavaha, Naham Karta, I am not the doer. Now there is that Deva within us who is propelling me to do it. So Daivam Karta, Naham Karta, Daivam Karta. Naiva Kinchit Karometi Yukto Manyeta Tatvavit Pashyan Shunvan Sprushan Jigran Ashnan Gachan Swapan Swasan Pralapan Visrajan Grunnan Unmishan Nimishan Napi Indriyani Indriyateshu Vartanta Itidhar Naiva Kinchit Karomi Iti. This is Prakriti Swabhav. See, the reason why I'm bringing in so many verses from the previous chapters is how this is a summary of the entire Bhagavad Gita so far taught. Then we'll talk about Jnanam, Jneyam, and Parijnata. So Jnanam is that knowledge which we have talked in the 13th chapter and then in the 4th chapter and then so many other chapters. Jneyam, the one who is to be known. Vedyam Pavitram Onkaraha. Vedaischa Sarvai Ahameva Vedyaha. Parijnata, the knower, the knowing and the knowledge. The knowledge, the object of knowledge and the knower. This is Triputi. Then Karanam Karma Karteti. So Karanam, the senses are the instruments. Then Karma, the action, and Karta, the doer. So they are also 3 types. We will talk about them also, Arjuna, Jnanam. So this Jnanam, what is Sattvika Jnana? What is Rajasika Jnana? And what is Tamasika Jnana? Because in Devi Durga Saptashati, Jnanamasti, there is Jnanam for all Jantus. But these are the 3 types. Sarva Bhuteshu Yenaikam Bhavamavyayam Ikshate Avibhaktam Vibhakteshu Tajnanam Vidhi Sattvikam. That knowledge by which that one undivided spiritual nature is seen in all existences, that undivided is seen in the divided, and that knowledge is the mode of goodness. We have seen that. Sarva Bhutasthamatmanam Sarva Bhutani Chatmani Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma Sarvatra Samadarshinaha Atma Upamyena Sarvatra Samam Pashyati Arjuna Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hruddeshe Arjuna Tishtati Ahamatma Gudakesha Sarva Bhutashaya Sthitaha. So seeing that one in many, that one as many, so that one only, not many. So that knowledge is Sattvikam. But if one says, Pruthatvena tu yajnanam nana bhavan pruthak vidhan veti sarveshu bhuteshu tajnanam vidhi rajasam. If you know each individual as a different one, then comes raga and dvesha. But sarvabhuteshu yaha atmanam pashyati, in Ishavasya Upanishad it says, tatra ka mohaha kaha shokaha. There is no shoka, there is no moha. But once you see that, then there is shoka, and then there is moha, and then there is dukkha. Then others, they don't even know where they are, and then what they are looking at. Yatta krishnavade kasmin karye saktama haitukam atatvarthavadal pancha tattamasamudahritam. Very petty-minded. They don't know what they are doing, what they are thinking, and then what they're talking about, and how they are treating people. That is tamasic. Then karta, the doer. Mukta sangona hamvadi drutyutsaha samanvitaha siddhya siddhyo nirvikaraha siddhya siddhyo nirvikaraha karta satvika uchyate mukta sangas samachara. We have seen that in the 3rd chapter. So anahamvadi yasya naham kruto bhavaha dhruti utsaha samanvitaha. So now, it is not my job, I'm not doing it. There is no passivity. There is no laziness. There is no question of giving up. That determination is there. And also utsaha is there. Because utsaham, sahasam, dhairyam, these are Lakshmi. This is the treasure. Utsaha. So utsaha samanvitaha, dhruti samanvitaha. So we have seen this also. They na buddhi bhedam janayet joshayet sarva karmanam. Joshayet. They actually inspire others the way they are doing the work. Siddhya siddhyo nirvikaraha. Siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. So that karta is sattvika karta. The another one, rage karma phala prepsuhu lubdho himsatmako shuchihi harsha shokanvita karta rajasa parikirtitaha. So this one is dukkeshu udvignamanaha. Sukeshu gataspruha. So sukeshu spruha. So that was person, harsha shokanvitaha. He is a victim of both harsha and shoka. And is ragi, excessively attached to karma phala. And lubdha is miserly. And himsatmakaha. So when you are so intensely attached to action and the result, then as we talked about, by hook or crook you will do it. And when by doing it hook or crook, then you look at the wrong route and you take the wrong route. Then other one is ayukta prakrita stabdaha shato neshkruti kolasaha vishadi dirgha sutricha karta tamasa uchyate. That one, ayuktaha, is not in line with what the world is thinking, not in line with the scriptures. Prakritaha is very materialistic, prakriti-oriented, very materialistic. What is in it for me? Stabdaha, and obstinate. Shataha, the one who is, Shata is in a way cheating. Shataha, teaching. Naishkrutikaha, the one who undoes everyone's work, the one who criticizes everyone's work. And alasaha, and he just kind of doesn't want to do anything. Vishadi, again worrying about everything. Dirghasutri is like procrastinating everything. So all these. So there is Dirghadarshi, there is Dirghasutri, and then there is also Sadhyakarta, and then Sadhyadarshi. So the one who can look into the future, the one who just gets the things done when they come, they just cross the bridge when they get there. And the others, they don't even think of today or tomorrow, or they are not even aware of yesterday. So this murkhasya panchachimnani, what are they? Garva, ego and pride. Durvachanam, the way they talk, very abusive language. Krodha, anger, and Drudhavada is just stubborn arguments. And then Paravakeshu Anadaraha, not caring for others, not caring for what others say. That is Murkha. That's what is taught. Then, so that Udyamam is important, Utsaham is important for a Sattvika Karta, for one to become Sattvika Karta. So there, the Rajasika attitude has to be converted to Sattvika attitude. So that Udyamena hi siddhyanti karyani na manorathai. Not just Sankalpa. Sankalpa is the first one. Shubhecha is the first one. The desire is good, but it has to be put into practice. So all the activities are accomplished by effort only, not just by desires. Udyamena hi siddhyanti karyani na manorathaihi. Nahi suptasya simhasya pravishanti mukhe mrugaha. If a lion is sleeping, do you think that the deer will come and say, hey, your breakfast is here? They won't say that. So Udyamena hi siddhyanti. Udyamam and utsaham, dhruti and dhairyam. That is what is important. Then Lord Krishna talks about three other things: buddhi and dhruti and sukham. So three types of these. Buddher bhedam dhruteschaiva gunatas trividham shrunu. So that buddhi, pravrittim cha nivrittim cha karyam cha karya karye bhaya bhaye bandham moksham cha ya vetti buddhissa partha sattviki. They know when to get in and when not. It's like a cricketer, batsman. When they know what ball to hit and when to leave a ball. So that pravritti and nivritti. Karya, akarya, what is to be done and what is not to be done. Bhaya and abhaya. So bhaya in doing the vikarma, viruddha karma, nishiddha karma, or abhaya in doing niyata karma. Then bandham and moksham, what binds and what not. So that buddhi is sattvic buddhi. That cognition, that cognitive mind. Then yaya dharmam adharmam cha karyameva cha ayadhavat prajanati. So dharmam, adharmam, karyam, akaryam, knowing it wrongly, ayadhavat, not correctly. So that one is rajasika. Then knowing adharmam is dharmam, that is tamasika. Adharmam dharma itiya manyate tamasavrita. Sarvarthan viparetamscha, and going wrong everywhere. That one is tamasic. So not having a clear knowledge, an imperfect knowledge is rajasic knowledge. Then totally opposed knowledge or opposite knowledge, a totally wrong knowledge is tamasic knowledge. And Duryodhana is somewhere in between these, because he says janami dharmam, janami adharmam. Janami dharmam nachame pravrittihi. I know what dharma is, but I have no intention to follow that. And janami adharmam nachame nivrittihi. I know what is wrong, but I don't have any power or intention to retrieve from that. So that is another quality or another category, I say. So then dhruti. So this dhruti, determination, is also three kinds. So sattvika dhruti, dhrutyayaya dharayate manah pranendriya kriya yogena avyabhicharinya. So avyabhicharini yoga. So avyabhicharini yoga is that yoga which is single-pointed, focused, vyavasayatmika buddhi ekeha kuru nandana, that one. And then manas and pranas and indriya kriyas are in one line, so that dhruti. But other one, rajasic, is yayatu dharma kama arthan. All these are done, all these are in the same way like sattvika, but there is phala sakti. There is karma sakti, dhritya dharayate arjuna, prasangena phalakangshi. So all this is done, but for one's own benefit, for one's own family's benefit. So that is what it is. And we see people like this. We see some traits sometimes in us, but we see obviously some people with these traits. Then yaya swapnam, bhayam shokam, vishadam, madamevacha, navimunchati durmedha. So swapnam, dreaming, bhayam, afraid of all the things, vishadam, very sad, and madam, pride, all these are tamasic qualities. When you have that kind of determination, it's called tamasic. And sukham is also three types. Sukham tu idanim trividham shunu. So we'll take 5 more minutes. And in this world, O Arjuna, there is There is nothing which is free of these three gunas. Natadasti prithivyam va divideveshu va punah sattvam prakriti jair muktam yade bhisyatri bhirgunaihi. There is nothing in this world, nor in the heavens, which is devoid of heavens, okay? Not that abode of Narayana, not that Vishnupada. We are talking about Traividya, Soma Paputa Papaha, Yajneristva Swargatim Prathayante, Te Punyama Sadhya Surendra Lokam, Ashnanti Divyan Divideva Bhutan, Tetam Bhuktva Sarga Lokam Vishalam, Kshine Punye Matya Lokam Vishanti. So they come back because it is endowed with these three gunas. Traigunya Vishaya Veda, Nitraigunya Bhavajana, Nirdvandvo Nitya Satvastho, Niryoga Kshema Atmavan. So the Karma Kanda of Vedas is filled with these three gunas, but when you come to Jnana Kanda, it is Trigunatita Lakshana. So the Sukham, when you work hard and the fruits are in front of you, after working hard, that is Sattvika Sukham. Yadagrecha anubandhecha sukham mohanam atmanaha nidralasya pramadotham tattamasamudahritam. What is tamasam? Tamasam is you're not worried about the result, you're not worried about the action, and you are not worried about what's going on, and you think that you are happy. It is like somebody reveling, abusing the drugs. So that Sukham is Tamasic Sukham. Vishayendriya samyogat yattadagre murtopamam pariname vishamiva tassukham raja samsmrutam. Because of the contact between the senses and sense objects, it looks nectarine in upfront, but pariname at the end, the result is like a poison. So it is like Magic Johnson who actually quotes this. So it looked all heavenly when I had all the pleasures. But now when he got HIV, he said, so this is pariname vishamiva. Then other one, yattadagre vishamiva pariname mrutopamam tassukham sattvikam proktam atmabuddhi prasadajam. So this one is difficult in the beginning. It is like vishamiva, but pariname, in the result, it is amrutopamam. So that's sukham. So you see how amruta madana, how difficult it was in the beginning. And at the end, you got the nectar out of it. So vidyarthi chet, sukham tyajet. Sukharthi chet, vidyam tyajet. So if you want vidya, you forget about the pleasures. If you want only the pleasures, you forget about getting better at what you want to. So yes, this is Hanuman. With this, we'll conclude, and we'll take up in the next session about how these three gunas are reflected into the four categories that the society divides us into as Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. So before concluding, let me take the example of Hanuman, who is crossing the ocean of this samsara. When Mainaka comes in his way, actually Mainaka comes with good intention. He says, oh Hanuman, why didn't you rest upon me? But that is a sattvika obstacle. And surasa, rasa, that means very attractive. And surasa comes and then asks him to enter her mouth. So she opens her mouth wide open, and Hanuman becomes big and big and big, because these senses are never ending. Rajat kama kamanam upabhogena shamyati havisha krishna vatmeva bhuyayeva bhivaddate. So it goes on and on endlessly, all these desires. We have to know their limitations. We have to know where the end point is, and we have to know where we are at. Then Hanuman becomes small. He just enters and then comes out. Then there is Simhika. Simhika draws the energy. So Vivekananda says, whatever makes you weak, physically, mentally, emotionally, and intellectually, know that as poison. And whatever makes you stronger, physically, mentally, emotionally, intellectually, and philosophically, that is the the Amrita. And there Simhika draws. So he just goes and kills Simhika. Simhika is Himsika, the Tamasika, Avarodha. So then he moves on. So then the Gandharvas, the celestial people, they praise Hanuman with this verse. Yasyatvetani chatvari vanarendra yadhatava dhrutir drustir matir dakshyam saha karmasu nasidati. O best among vanaras, whoever has the four qualities of these four qualities of dhruti, determination, drishti, vision, mati, the knowledge and intellect about it, and dakshyam, the skill. So determination, that's very important for sankalpa. Vision is so important for the action to be implemented. And the knowledge is very much needed for us to proceed towards the goal. And when we practice abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grihyate, that skill will come. The skill is dakshata. And we have seen that. So that is yoga. Yoga karmasu kausalam. We talked about dhriti. We talked about drishti, that vision. So vision without action is daydreaming, and action without vision is a nightmare. Action without vision is a nightmare. So when one is endowed with these four, such a person never fails and never falls in any task he or she takes up. So with that, let me conclude. Sarvam Krishnarpanamastu.
Different.
Okay. Yeah. अथ गीतामाहात्म्यं गीताशास्त्रमिदं पुण्यं यः पठेत् प्रयतः पुमान् विष्णोः पदमवाप्नोति भयशोकादिवर्जितः गीताध्ययनशीलस्य प्राणायामपरस्य च नैव सन्ति हि पापानि पूर्वजन्मकृतानि च मलनिर्मोचनं पुंसां जलस्नानं दिने दिने सकृद्गीताम्भसि स्नानं संसारमलनाशनं गीता सुगीता कर्तव्या किमन्यैः शास्त्रविस्तरैः या स्वयं पद्मनाभस्य मुखपद्माद्विनिसृता भारतामृतसर्वस्वं विष्णोर्वक्त्राद्विनिसृतं गीता गङ्गोदकं पीत्वा पुनर्जन्म न विद्यते सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्स सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत् एकं शास्त्रं देवकी पुत्रगीतम् एको देवो देवकी पुत्र एव एको मन्त्रस्तस्य नामानि यानि कर्माप्येकं तस्य देवस्य सेवा कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि श्रीमन्नारायणायेति समर्पयामि ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सर्वं श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु
Namaste. Yeah, Dr. G will talk about these next time. So this is difference. The saying goes, different strokes for different folks. The farmer tills, the gardener raises beds, the beekeeper harvests honey, the construction worker builds, working hard despite rain or shine. The engineer debugs, the doctor examines, the scientist experiments, the librarian organizes, The accountant does the books, working day in and day out. The senator votes, the leader strategizes, the mayor governs, the prosecutor argues, doing their duty and serving their constituents. Everybody doing their duty in quiet dignity and deep humility.